Good evening, everyone. I am Mayor Beverly Sparks, and this is Thursday. You don't, oh, you can't hear me? Am I clicking? All right, pass me the microphone. Do it solo. Hello? Okay. All right, let's go through this again. Good evening, everyone. I am Mayor Beverly H. Burks. This is Thursday, July 23rd, 2026 at 6 p.m. And this is a City Council special call joint work session with the Downtown Development Authority, DDA, meeting agenda. At this time, I will start with the City Council in terms of roll call with Councilwoman Bell. Councilwoman Bayonne, Councilwoman Adi, Councilman Dean Moore, and you have double duty for this event. Okay, you're here, and Councilman Perkins. So at this time, from a council perspective, we have quorum to proceed, and looking over to my right, we have our Downtown Development Authority, DDA. I have our vice chair here, Ms. Adrian. So if you would like to do a roll call of the DDA.
Sure. Vice Chair Adrian. Vice Chair Adrian Marshall.
Secretary Michelle Masurgeon.
Director Sydney Jakes.
Director Dean Moore.
With that, there are no changes to the agenda because it is a special call meeting. We will now proceed to presentation administrative business, which is item 3A, facilitation, agenda, and workshop guide. I will now turn it over to the city manager, Shaquia Miller-Thornton.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Mayor. We are excited to be together in the room today to have some conversation and collaboration between our City Council and the Downtown Development Authority. We do have Georgia Tech here today to facilitate this, what I believe will be a very productive discussion on economic development within the city of Clarkston. So we will turn it over to Georgia Tech.
Hi, everyone. It's great to be here with y'all. And I agree. One of my hopes for, come over, for this session is that, it's very productive and everyone feels good about coming here at 6 p.m. So thank you all for doing that. If you could humor me, I know that some of y'all don't know each other. And it would be helpful for us too, if you could write on the name tags that are on the tables, your name and just put it on. That way it's easier for you to remember tomorrow, associate people's faces with their names.
All right. I think we're going to do a few introductions a little later, but I'm going to take a point of privilege and introduce myself since I'm talking to you guys. But I'm Betsy McGriff, and I'm a project manager with the Center for Economic Development Research at Georgia Tech, and very excited to be here. We've done some work with Clarkston DDA in the past, and I've done a lot of community development and downtown development work over my career, and I'm very excited to help you guys come together and put the two sides of government together and everybody kind of get on the same page and the same vision. So with that, I just want to review with everyone sort of why we're here, the role of the DDA, how it relates to the city, because if you're not super familiar with it, it can be kind of confusing. So really what we're here today, the DDA is sort of a function of the city in a way. The city enables. So you have a little primer here, because I always think I don't want you to have to take too many notes. So something you can take home. But all cities in Georgia can activate Downtown Development Authority, and it's very similar. I don't know if any of you are familiar with your countywide development authority, but you have a countywide development authority, decide DeKalb. And that covers the whole county, but your downtown development authority has to have a defined district, and you have that, and we have some maps that we'll show you later. But it has very similar powers, and really what a downtown development authority does is it allows the authority to act, in conjunction with the city to improve and grow business, create a vibrant downtown district for residents and visitors alike. So it has special powers that are not granted to a government, but are granted to an authority. So it kind of acts almost like a private entity a little bit in the way that it can hold and dispose of property. So you'll see here, it is a financial vehicle for that very reason. It can take, buy and sell property, serve as a real estate entity, and that's designed such that it can help incubate and grow businesses in a way that the government just can't do by law. It serves as a link, so it really is the bridge, again, from the private sector. It's set up in a very certain way. So as you know, you have a city councilman that sits on the DDA board, but the rest of the board has to come from people who live in the district or own businesses in the district. So it's structured in a very particular way, has a very clear mission and vision, and we're going to go over that in a little while. And it serves really as an economic driver. And when we say that, it's not just about business. So it's about also creating, community and placemaking and really supporting businesses within that downtown district, most of which in a typical downtown, and Clarkston is no different in this respect, that those are typically small businesses that are, locally owned most of the time. Again, with the powers, it has the power to create some property tax and ad valorem tax incentives to attract business if that's necessary. And so we'll talk about what that looks like and why you would do that. We'll work through some funding mechanisms. It's one of the reasons we're here. A lot of times, DDAs do a lot of vision setting, and we're doing that, and they set goals and strategy, but you can't do, we all live and die by a budget, right? Whether we're at home or with the city. So we have to think about what are the city's priorities, what are the DDA's priorities, where do those meet up, and where does that funding come from? It doesn't all come from the general fund, right? We all stack our money different ways, and so how can the city help support that across the spectrum of funding? Property management, so that's something that many DDAs, that's how they sort of get their start and get their seed. Oftentimes the city has property that they want to dispose of, and they allow the DDA to market that. So that's something to think about. And then the DDA can help manage and guide infrastructure projects within their district, right? And so when you think about that, it's not necessarily maybe water and sewer, but things like signage and streetscapes and those kinds of things. And then enacting those incentive programs that are different from the tax incentives. So a lot of DDAs have a facade grant program, right, that can improve the look of a business. They might have a signage grant improvement program, restaurant improvement program. So if a site wants a restaurant, needs a grease trap. So those are the kinds of incentives that a DDA can typically. So I'm just trying to give you a little primer on what DDAs do, and you can research and look. This is all kind of set by Georgia Code. But the goal of the DDA board, right, is to set the vision, set the goals, almost like the city council, right? So you're setting policy, and then your staff is enacting that policy. And so that's what we're here today to talk about, is like what are the goals, what is the strategy, and what's the DDA trying to achieve, and how can the city support that? Also, by the same token, what's the city trying to achieve, and how can the DDA, what's the sweet spot of connection for all of that? One of the things that we're going to recommend that the DDA board do is engagement, and engage with small businesses. So being that listening ear, you only have one economic developer and one downtown development director. And Jacob can do a lot of great things, but he can't be everywhere all at once. So we have some goals around that. And then finally, one of the things for the enabling city, so you guys, what's important is to continue to host not just this session, but continue this work probably quarterly, just to get those updates on what's going on. Things change, goals get accomplished and checked off the list, and then the next thing moves to the top. So really encouraging that to let this be the kickoff to continued collaboration. Providing that stable leadership, staffing, funding, those kinds of things, because you do have a relatively new DDA, so you have to sort of fund that and incubate that until it's standing on its own and really, really functioning in the way that it should in terms of holding property. So with that, I am going to hand it back over to Alex, and we'll begin our real program.
Yeah, thank you for the context setting. I should have also introduced myself. I didn't. I always forget to do that. I am Alex. Happy to be here with you all tonight. I also work at Georgia Tech in a different center, though. I work at the Center for Sustainable Communities Research and Education. Now it's time for y'all to introduce yourselves. So what I'm gonna do, so I have here the vision and mission statement. I had a student write it, that's why it's so beautiful. Also, I understand, hard to read from over there. So what we're gonna do first is have a volunteer, maybe someone closer, to read it out loud for everyone. And then we're all gonna go around, pass the mic, and say, again, your name, your role. I know some people trickled in. And then just one word from each of these that you wanna highlight, that you wanna emphasize. You know, maybe it's diverse, maybe it's businesses, maybe it's dedicated. That really calls to you. So first we're gonna have a volunteer here, read it. Would you mind reading the mission and vision statement?
Sure. Clarkston, we're global culture. I don't even know if I can read that. Where global culture builds local success. Is that what that says? Yeah. Awesome. To build a vibrant, inclusive city where diversity. Am I reading that correctly? To build a vibrant, inclusive city where diversity. That's double, right? I'm not. Okay, where diversity. I'm like, wait. Is something going on? Where diversity.
I'll give her an F. Right. I'm sorry about that. I should have fact-checked you.
Clarkston, where global cultures build local success. To build a vibrant, inclusive city where diverse city. To build a vibrant, yes, something is where businesses thrive. Businesses thrive. Where diverse businesses thrive through inclusive development, cultural celebration, and sustainable investment.
Right. Mission statement now. Hopefully there will be no typos.
The Clarkston DDA is dedicated to building a vibrant, connected downtown by celebrating the city's cultural fabric through dynamic experiences, enhanced public spaces, and promoting partnerships, civic engagement, and regional collaboration.
Thank you so much. So what we'll do now, I'll pass the mic. You'll do your name, and then one word that you want to highlight from either of these statements. And then Kaylee here will highlight it for us, so nobody has to get up. I was going to have everyone get up, but I am merciful. So we'll start here.
My name is Ganar McCord, and I am on the DDA. And the word that I would like to highlight is global.
Okay. My name is Sydney Jakes, and the word I would like to highlight is cultures.
My name is Michelle Masurgeon, and I'm on the DDA, and I would like to highlight the word vibrant.
And are we just highlighting words on the vision statement? On either one?
And you can repeat words.
Okay. All right. My name is Adrian Marshall. I'm on the DDA as well. I would like to highlight celebration.
My name is Dean Moore. I'm on the City Council and on the DDA, and I wanted to specifically say businesses thrive and are vibrant.
Right.
Words. Thrive.
Thrive.
Vibrant was already taken.
Okay, thrive. He's doing thrive. Oh, Lord. Okay. He has two hats. He gets two words, so that's fair. Okay, very fair. I'd like to do investment. Oh, and I'm Beverly Burks, Mayor.
Deborah Johnson, sustainability. Councilwoman Bell, Development.
Councilwoman Lynn, Businesses.
Councilwoman Ade, Inclusive Development.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna let everybody merge. So. Councilman Perkins, Success.
City Clerk, Cindy Hansen, Diverse.
Kedra Jackson, Director of Community and Economic Development, and I choose Enhanced.
Jacob Bowie, Economic Development Coordinator. I would like to second Sustainable.
Shaquia Miller Thornton, City Manager, and I will go with Partnerships. All of that takes a team.
Thank you. That was a great last one. This is how you get everyone to actually read it and think about it for a second, by the way, when you have to find the word that really speaks to you. So thank you all for doing that. I really want to have this as like our kind of context setting for the night. So we remember the things that we're working towards here, right? This is all the things that each of us wants it to be a focus on our conversations today. So I'll be here to remember. The other thing that I want to go over. Oh, yeah.
Oh, I don't need to say a word. Good evening, everyone. Christopher Pike with Urban Pulse Community Solutions. We are the designated economic development consulting firm for the city of Clarkston. Excited to be here and to participate. So look forward to working with you all. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you for joining us. Okay, next on the agenda, I want to go over these guidelines for participation. We're going to be having some discussions today. I share them. Not everyone has one. They're like spread out. So didn't print enough. So you have to share. But yeah, we'll be having some discussions today, and I want to, this, for me, for my office, we use this a lot, and it's always been super helpful. Some of the stuff in it might seem silly, but it's really helpful to read. So what I want you to do is take a minute and just read them all, and then you all have Post-its in front of you. You're going to choose one that you're really going to focus on today. Maybe you're the person that doesn't raise their hand and and likes to be more shy. Maybe today you commit to trying to step out of your comfort zone, or maybe you're the opposite. Maybe like some people have to, you interrupt people, or like you really want to say something all the time. Maybe today you let others speak. There's a lot of kind of participation guidelines there for you to choose. So just reflect a little bit on like what would be challenging for you, what you want to work on today, and just pick one and write it on the Post-it. You can write the number.
See if it's two, because it was two attached to.
Okay, yes. Go ahead. You can pick one that you're going to work on and write it in the Post-it. So the question is what was supposed to be written on the Post-it. So just pick one, and there should be a number on your Post-it of what you're committing to working on today. Obviously, we're not perfect. We can't do all those things. It would be kind of impossible. So just one thing. Okay, everyone has one? what we're gonna do next is you're gonna pass it to the person on your right. I'll do the long ones. So we're passing it to the person on your right. Okay, so now you've shown someone else what you want to work on, so you're kind of a little bit committed to working on it today. Obviously, nobody's gonna get kicked out or anything if they don't follow through, but it's just a helpful exercise, mind exercise to do so you can commit to that. You pass it to the person on your right.
I think this also helps you understand like where people are, like what's important
Yeah.
to other people. So as we start, as you said, to build those partnerships and understanding about each other is important.
Yeah, can we have one person share what they wrote? Which one?
I don't know why I don't already do this gracefully because I've been dealing with politicians for 30 years, but to embrace discomfort.
Did anyone else put embrace discomfort? That's number 9. Oh, nobody else. Did someone put something different that they want to share?
I did my 2 things that I'm notorious for, which is not listening to understand. I'm really bad at that. And I'm also really bad at interrupting. Do not interrupt.
Yeah, those are hard. Did anyone else put either of those, number 2 or 7? Yeah, they're hard. See, we have multiple people that are also working on that. Okay, thank you. Okay, next up, I'll pass it to Betsy again to go over more of the DDA focus areas.
Yes. All right, so one of the things, we already sort of went over the DDA roles, how you work with each other, how you work with the city. And I'm going to grab the piece of paper. So one of the things as we're going over sort of our work plan and the big buckets, so it's just like any other how many of you have participated in comp planning, strategic planning, something either for government or at work, right? Most everybody that's an adult has done something like that before, right? And you start with a really big bucket and then you get down to specific things. And we've done that as a group with the DDA. So I want you to think as we're going through this exercise, just something to keep in the back of your mind is where do these things align? Where does the DDA's work and vision align with the city's work and vision? Where do those goals kind of meet up, because that's where you can get some synergy. But also, again, thinking about partnerships and where do you need to build capacity? So you're not at nirvana yet, right? So there could be things that's like, hey, this is somewhere where we're not focused, we're not working together, we're not aligned, but it's really important to align and to work together. So it could be things that are working and you want to build on and make it better, and it could be somewhere that, hey, we're starting at kindergarten and we're going to all get to first grade together. So we just want to think about that as we go through. So the 4 sort of, we've gone back and forth with they should be called focus areas, but as y'all can tell when I open my mouth, I am from the country. And so I call it buckets, right? So if you think about a bucket of work. So these are our 4 buckets, and I'll give you a little bit of a definition because we did start like really big. And try to keep the buckets neat, but have some definition. So when we talk about, I'm going to start in this quadrant. So with relationship building, you all have this again, because this is the kickoff, not the end of the work. So you can go home and make notes and think through what these things are and have questions and ideas. And then that's how you build your plan and relationships. So relationship building, which would be establishing transparency and proactive communication to connect with the community. Community can mean a lot of things, right? And this room is a community, and then there's the community at large. Placemaking, so creating a must-visit destination for residents and visitors. I think it's really important for residents, right? We often market ourselves to people who live outside, but are we doing the things for the people who live here that they want to come and be a part? and connecting the undefined and disjointed feel of downtown. Lots of downtowns have that. Do you know when you got here? Do you know what there is to do here? Small business support, so become a desirable destination for entrepreneurs by providing financial support and regulatory clarity needed to support startups. So you think about Chick-fil-A and McDonald's and Walmart. They know how to do business, right? They're super successful at it. But somebody who is making bracelets or bread or cutting hair, maybe they're super talented, but they're not in the business of doing business, right? And it's hard to do business and navigate sort of the government and permitting. So how do we make that easier, friendlier, help people comply? It's getting to yes, right? And then housing, and you think about, well, housing, like, is that really a downtown thing? But yes, I mean, you need people to come downtown and live and play and do and work and own businesses. So ensure diverse housing options and prevent displacement while building community capacity. So honoring the people who are here, making sure that they're able to stay, that they have the support, again, to grow their small business and remain in place. So those are the kind of overarching goals that we have that we've determined, and we have some ideas of activities that go under that. But so Alex is going to go over some initiatives that the city has going on, and we'll try to figure out where those go, and again, try to build on that synergy.
Yeah, so what we want is to connect the dots. I mean, people from the city, do these sound like things you're also prioritizing and working on? Right? Okay, 1, nodding the head. 2, okay. So what we want to do now is see, based on, we also wrote, can you pass me some? So we have on other index cards, kind of like list of city initiatives. And what we want is to talk to you about where they should go in the 4 buckets. And just to make that connection together of what are the things that the city is working on, that the DDA also wants to work on, and where we can start to build bridges, build relationships, to move those things forward that are kind of a value add for both groups. Does that sound good? Okay, so we'll start with this one, conducting a citywide study, a citywide housing study. Okay, we're starting with an easy one. Where should it go? Housing, yeah, okay. Completely random, but an easy one. Okay, supporting workforce development opportunities connected to local food and agriculture. Small business support, I have some relationship building. It can be, mainly here, but then also touch on some other. None of them are like fully siloed, right? Okay, next one. Expanding cultural and tourism activities that highlight Clarkston food system and community identity. Placemaking. Develop and prioritizing a coordinated wayfinding signage strategy. Placemaking. Improving the city's web content and better promote local destinations, planning initiatives, and community assets. Relationship building. Supporting the preservation of existing affordable housing. Exploring the use of tax credits and other tools to improve existing housing or support new housing development. Okay, so it seems like it's kind of maybe a little bit, not even a little even spread out, like each of the buckets have something. Is there anyone from the city that wants to add something? Maybe I'm missing something on the index card. Those are all the ones I have, but I have empty ones in case there's another initiative that we want to put here that we think fits into one of these buckets. I'm putting you on the spot. It can be that you would like to see. It can be aspirational. Because these are things that the DDA wants to work on. So they're also aspirational.
I would like for us to leverage the asset of the trail similar to what they do with the belt line. And so in doing so, it would be in collaboration with the other municipalities that use the path as well. So that way it's an asset we have, it fits within the placemaking, and we can use that similarly to draw people in. So, and then we have the City Hall Annex building that could be that support incubator for those businesses that you talked about that can't maintain a week of doing their business, but could do something over the weekend. And that could be that incubator to help educate in terms of sustainability for that piece.
Okay, so we got the trail. Okay, thank you, Kaylee. This is helpful. And then also business incubator was the other one. So we'll put this one, leverage the trail and the placemaking, and then business incubator, small business support. Does anyone else want to also share? Yeah, here. It's the mic. Thank you so much.
Under the relationship building piece, I think again about partnerships and leveraging those relationships and partnerships with DeKalb County offices, like the chamber, like the planning and sustainability offices, those offices that we do multi or cross jurisdictional work with, right? Because right now, and I'll give an example, one of the things that we hear our developers talk about is the time it takes to get, permitting through from our offices through the DeKalb system and back. So building those relationships that help support both current business development and new business development.
Thank you.
I think this can be a mix between small business support and relationship building, but to develop an ongoing resource to help small businesses stay sustainable.
Okay, thank you. And then Kaylee's writing that, we'll put it up. And we'll have time to talk about this now. I wanna leave plenty of time for y'all to discuss. I'm gonna ask you to get up to do something. So 2 things. When you go to an event and they're like, oh yeah, do small groups or something, and you don't wanna get up, so you just go to the person that's next to you and you build a small group with them. We're not gonna do that today. So I'm gonna ask everyone to get up to do something first, so that y'all are already up, and then you can do small groups with people you're not sitting next to. So the first thing we're gonna do is that I got these stickers right here, very nice and new. And so what I want everyone to do is to get up and kind of vote on 2 initiatives. So you're gonna take 2 stickers, put them like here, wherever, that you really think is something that you wanna work on, or that the DDA could focus on, or that you see a bridge between your 2 groups to work on. So what's something that you could build on together that calls to you, that you're like, oh yeah, this would be a really good one actually for us to talk about today. And then what we're gonna do is that the top 3 we'll do small groups on. So depending on the vote. So that's what we're doing right now. So everyone's gonna have to get up. So we'll start, I'm picking on this side all the time, I'm sorry. But we'll start with y'all. Yes.
I'm sorry.
You're good.
Are we limited to these 4 things? If there's something that I think something's missing, can I add something?
Is it,
or we're limited?
is it a separate bucket, like a separate purple card or a separate white card?
A white card.
You can add one, yes. What do you think is missing?
So I think I'm thinking business recruitment and attraction. So, efforts to maximize marketing of resources to bring new businesses in, and, incentives with our peer communities. So I would put that under small business support and or relationship building. And, redevelopment, which I think we need some more data and information to understand how, where we're at. And if all these ideas fit with, the things that we're trying to do.
Yeah. Okay, we added one, and I think the second part is what we're trying to do at large. So I'm not going to add that, but that is a good point, and I'm glad we're doing this. So that's great. So we have all this stuff. So we're going to go in, I guess, this order. Picking on this side. I'm sorry, y'all. But you're going to take 2 stickers from this, and you're gonna put it on 2 of the white cards, and then you're gonna stay standing here until we decide the small groups, and then we're gonna divide everyone up in small groups, depending on what y'all vote on. Does that sound good? Does that make sense? Okay, I see a little bit of nods, some people not nodding, but I hope you're nodding inside your head. Okay.
I appreciate y'all, but we don't have to wait. Like we're interrupting. She's a facilitator. She just said get up so that everybody will be out of their seat. You can't be out your seat if you're still in it. Marcus is sitting.
Well, y'all have, dance around.
That's him, though.
Sometimes I bring a speaker and play music. I didn't think about that.
Do you guys have purple?
No. Whose side is blue though? It's not just your dress. I'll make a note out of that. I didn't make that index card purple, so I hope that makes us okay.
Put it on the white card. Can I put it on the purple?
On the white card.
We don't got money.
It's a good conversation. Good couple.
I'll share it. We'll share. I'll share it with you.
Just 2, yeah. So put 2 stickers. Great, thank you. Okay, thanks y'all for humoring me and doing that. I'm glad I asked you all for what you thought was missing, because all the most votes are the ones that I didn't write. So I don't know if that means I did a bad job or.
Community, right?
Yeah. Okay, so it looks like we have top three. I'm seeing the leverage the asset of the trails. That's one of them who got a lot of votes. Business recruitment and attraction also got a lot of votes. And then leverage the county partnerships also got a lot of votes. Yeah, I think those are the top. Perfect. So what we're going to do 3 small groups. So we're going to have one on this corner. Doesn't matter where you were sitting. You're forgetting about that seat. We move them all around. So we're going to do one group here. This is going to be the leverage the asset of the trail. Then we're going to have another small group here. This is going to be the county partnerships. And we're going to have another small group on this area. And that's going to be the business recruitment and attraction. So I'm going to ask you all to pick a seat based on those 3. I'm going to ask you to pretty please, if there's one you really want, but there's a lot of people there, maybe go to your second favorite. If you see that there's a lot of DDA on one and you're part of the DDA, maybe go to a different one so we're all spread out and spread the love. So yeah, that's one facilitator favor that y'all are gonna do for me, apart from all the other things that I'm asking you to do. So does that sound good? I'm gonna repeat where everyone's gonna be. So this is gonna be the trail asset. This is gonna be the County partnerships. And then this is gonna be business attraction and retention, okay? Let's get to it. And then we're gonna use the rest of the time for discussion. Musical chair. Yeah, this is musical chairs. Sorry. You can go and put it down there so we know which one it is. Thank you. Partnerships. Okay, it looks like we need some love under the County partnership. So if this was your second favorite, please come over.
Did a bike month with the other cities. Yeah. So when I first got on as mayor, I got all the municipalities that are along the path.
Okay, and the last thing I'm gonna say before I let you talk freely, sorry. I'm gonna give you one guiding question, or 2, I guess. So what would be needed to move this forward? What's in your index card, what you chose? What would be needed to move it forward? And what role could both of these groups play in moving that forward? So that's gonna be your guiding discussion question, and that's what I want you to talk about and discuss.
Besides money. So just so you know, what we did was I had all the cities that came into Clarkston. We celebrated Bike Month since it was on the trail. And we even had somebody with, before the businesses were there, to repair bikes. I forgot the name of the organization, but there's an organization that shows you how to section off areas, and then you do activities for that period of time. Like you could do yoga, you could do, all of those different things like that. So that's what made me think about it, because we got this asset that people use that we're not leveraging to encourage people to come as part of the city. Even when we're saying that we're maybe doing businesses on the weekend, right? Because that's that whole incubator part of it, is that a lot of these businesses can't support themselves 7 days or 5 days a week. But if we have things like on the weekend, or we have things on designated days, that might be something where they could do the activity, right? And then the wayward signs would be the draw. And if we were able to have electronic signs, like I've seen, like the gateway along, like in Brookhaven, you could then be able to post the activities that we have along the path.
Okay. That's a good idea. On the trail too. Kiosks along the trail.
Mm-hmm. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
access are called public safety.
They do. Yeah. Yeah. And
So one of the first things Keisha and I were talking about is that GIS kind of mapping, looking at those different areas around the trail where you might engage, or different kinds of businesses, like mapping out where a yoga place will go, or mapping out where a small container business might go, and just starting kind of there, right? And then as you look at the GIS, you can determine those different jurisdictions and where those boundaries are, so you know how to engage and who to engage about the different kinds of businesses.
Right.
And I think what we need more than anything is, like the mayor said, is a draw to the city, because interior, the city can't sustain itself. Its people can't sustain its businesses, right? So we have to have something that, like a Stone Mountain, that brings people to the area. And I think a small scale Beltline for Clarkston,
that's what I'm
with
saying.
its catchy little name, right, and all these niches, would be wonderful.
Right down to how we can have our own version of it.
That's
right
right.
down how they even have those little house things along, little door things.
Yes.
We can come up with something creative with that, to be a part of it. But
Mayor said money.
Right, but because even with the Beltline, we're not there yet. But the Beltline has a special events person that does all their events along there, right? And they had like wrestling or something the other day. They have all kind of, but they can.
I'm sorry.
No.
What about the little bus restaurant that you saw, that you were telling me about?
Oh, yeah. So, a friend of mine, we went to this restaurant. It's called Tiger Sun off the Beltline in Reynoldstown. And it was a old bus. They took it, did interior renovation, and it's really cute. I have pictures. Yeah. And so, off the Beltline, if you walk in, you just get off the Beltline, go to this restaurant on the bus, and just, chill. And it's just, they have a bar on here, different foods, and I like it because they have like a theme. So the theme we went to that night was Back to the Future. And so the food is based on Back to the Future. Yeah. So we could do something like that on our Beltline. And I also thought about, there's a property on our trail that is for sale now. But we can take that property and do a food hall there.
Yeah.
And so whomever is walking the Beltline, they may want to get off the Beltline, go to the food hall, enjoy. You'll have 15 to 20 different chefs from, that will serve different foods, cuisines, and maybe have a live band. Friday nights we can have a live band, and people, and it's walkable.
Right.
So we want to create that, because downtown parking is very limited. So if these people can just walk here from the community, enjoy food, dance, because music and food always
go together. And I can ask Mr. Malik, because that property that's on Norman and Church, next to your church, that maybe we can even use that, or pay a fee to maybe have some food trucks there. That's an option too, because it's on the property. Everything we have to want to do, we don't necessarily have to always own it.
That's right.
Right. So I think if we say, what is it that we can do, not what is restricting us from doing it, in terms of how we look at it, that might be another option as well too. Because even that property that's near, the portion of the trail that's by the Sprockets, that could be somewhere for yoga, because that's a big old area right there.
It is.
So if you're going down before you get to Indian Creek, Indian Trail, I mean, not Indian, North Decatur Road. Before you get to North Decatur Road on Church Street, there's the Sprocket Industrial Place. Okay. But there's the path, and then there's where, like, I'm sorry, a lot of space between, and that, I thought that was our stuff. Is it partial?
It is.
Right.
It is.
Right. Or the railroad, which is ours. So, because they don't take care of it. So, I mean,
So that's a good area. We were thinking about doing a mixed use there, but yes, we could look at that area.
but see, it's our Sprocket owns that area, but it's the part in front of it that if we're thinking of how do we do things or how do we activate, because it's how do we activate areas, right? You know, because that's one of the things when you look at the Beltline, they activate different areas, and once they activate the area, then people know to go to this area. What you thinking about?
Yes.
Money.
So it started from Georgia Tech students, and it was an abandoned railroad, and a lot of people used to walk that railroad. So a group of Georgia Tech students got together and said, "Hey, we need to start, for this to be a walking trail." So they were already walking. Yeah, they were already walking. And so that's where it started. It took years to get to where it is now, but basically that's the beginning of it. Yeah. Now they were walking. Where are they going at? Coming to? I'm not sure where they were coming from. Actually, at the time when I worked there, one of them was an intern there, and so he pitched this to the director at the time, and then she's like, "Hey, let's see what you come up with." And so him and some other friends got together, and it just started this planning, and started drawing how the Beltline will run over the years. It just expanded because I think now it's 29 miles. And so with us, I would like for us to expand ours and maybe connect it to Tucker.
We already connected. That's what I'm saying. We can literally.
Okay, everyone, I want to announce real quick, we have 5 minutes left for this discussion. It's 6:55, time flies. So I want to, give you a warning to think about wrapping up. And I want to remind you of the participation guidelines. So if you have someone at your table, small group, I guess not table, at your small group that hasn't really said much, maybe give them the floor now to step up and say what they think. So yeah, go ahead.
So, yeah.
Well, I don't even know if they know.
But that's why I said we need to do all the cities, because if we do all the cities, like do joint activities, even if we do like 2 cities, and then, right, yeah. Right.
Yes. Wine walk. That, hey, let's talk about that. Oh, we on TV. I forgot.
Oh my God, we on it.
Yes.
Oh, we could even do we can even say a tale of 2 cities or something really cute like that. Yeah.
Have music along the way.
Yeah. So what I can do if you want to, because we need to do it anyway for the annexation, is meet with the other municipalities who are along, because it's 5 of them.
Take me.
Right?
Take me.
I mean, you gonna be there. You know that. You already know that one. And then we deal with that piece. Because we still got to do the map part. We agree. And we got to, but also figure out how we going to work on that part together. Right. Yeah. Okay. Bam. But no, we can get a grant. We can get grants and sponsorships. Yeah. Yeah, so grants, sponsorship. Oh my God. You would too? You could, yeah.
porch, we have like lights and lanterners and stuff hang down on the rocking chair.
I love it. Now you got a whole bunch of stuff you can do, especially because of your products. I mean, because your product, because you can do a whole, because you can partner with Black Girls Run to do Black Girl Magic. Oh no! Oh, that wasn't on my thing. That was mine. Was being create collaborative. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Black Girl. Because think about it, Black Girl Run. That's a group, and then with your products, you do a kind of an event, and then that'd be Black Girl Magic.
Black Girl Magic. I'm in for it. I don't run, but I like magic.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's yeah. I like that. Yeah, look at you. Thank you. Thank you for the idea and because then you can talk about, and then you also can, especially with your sustainability piece of it, just amazing. You can talk about all of that and how other people can do that.
I think everybody feel that way.
Right. Yes. Yeah, and then that's a collaboration between the DDA and the city.
That's right. I'm already doing that.
Check. Okay, all right. And I'm holding my hand.
Okay, y'all, I'm gonna bring your focus back here. I'm glad y'all are having productive conversations. Usually when I go to places, I bring a chime. I forgot it. I should have brought my chime. Oh, that's good. I should get one of those. No, I have one where it's like a little bell. I got, that's effective. Okay, what I want is for maybe someone in each group to share with us like a quick takeaway from your discussion. Just kind of, maybe I'll pick on this group. Y'all are sitting on the hot seat.
We're gonna make our mayor talk. Yay.
Okay. All right. So this amazing group over here, we talked about our trail.
Oh wow.
Well, I know you will be. Okay, but anyway, so we talked about leveraging our asset in terms of the trail, right? And we were looking at how do we get this going. We already have our city looking at GIS in terms of the available properties that we can leverage to do events, looking at potential places where we can have businesses to maybe even have the containers and other activities. We're looking at how to, in terms of the funding pieces of it, to have business sponsorship. And we got from the DDA an idea for one of our businesses to be a part of that and include collaboration with some other, like Black Girl Run, and talk about her business in terms of Eco Slay. And what she does with her business, and using that as part of the collaboration in the path. We're talking about working with the other 5 municipalities to do a tour of the cities, to collaborate with the cities so that it's not just us, it's the other cities in collaboration so that we can have business sponsorship, making sure that people know about both the businesses along the path. And then that way we're all working towards it. What else did I miss? Oh, the wine walk. So we're looking at the wine walk along the path, and we're looking at where we can have yoga in other places.
Yep.
That's it. And we need money and grants and sponsorship, and we recognize the funding opportunities, but the business sponsor.
Yes.
And the food, we talked about the food trucks too. Yeah, the food trucks, we did too. Okay, food hall. Food hall. There.
That's a hard takeaway to follow. I will say, setting the bar high.
Yes. From the trucks to the hall.
All right, so for us, we talked about what it would look like to work better with DeKalb County. We started talking about identifying an end goal, and that was the city basically addressing some of the hardships that our local businesses may face, which would be in terms of like business licenses, permitting, fire inspections, We went to also talking about what it would look like to have not only the county, but other local partners to help us address some issues that are revolved around some of our property owners, and getting them on board to be more compliant, and even discussing ways that we could revisit our code to see how we could basically turn some of our not so great conditions into better conditions, and essentially create a pipeline to have better looking facades and buildings to support our local businesses. Once we got done talking about that, we also looked at who else could join in this conversation to help support this vision. For example, a local business chamber of commerce here in the city of Clarkston. We've talked about, how that can help be reframed to avoid the cadence of failed chambers in the past, to also assist with this vision, but also create partnerships with our sister cities, as this amazing group to the right of us has also said, to also understand what are some of the tactics that they have used or partnerships that they have used to get to that goal. City of Tucker, Decatur, Beaufort Highway, Doraville. But we also consider the Georgia Department of Economic Development, and also creating a interconnected ecosystem that can meet all of our needs for the sister cities.
Thank you so much. I also love how much overlap there is between the groups, and also like y'all mentioned stuff that I'm sure they're going to touch on. So that's great. And it also shows that, these are not siloed groups, but that you can cross collaborate with these discussions. Like maybe tomorrow, one of y'all will call one of them and be like, wait, what did you actually talk about in that group? Like, I want to listen more about the discussions you had. Okay, who wants to be the sheriff from this group?
So our group was on business recruitment and attraction. And so some of the things that we discussed today are around marketing and branding, strategic plan, and reimagining basically all of the assets that we have to embed into that strategy for where we're going. We also talked about identifying a particular space that we want to start the attraction of business at and scale. From there, there was also this discussion around incentives from a tax perspective, because we need those in order to, get people to come here. There's also thinking about structures and systems. And so when we think about that, we're talking about the business improvement districts, a CID, which is a community improvement district, because those are anchors in your city that are going to actively recruit folks. And then we also talked about assessing the cities that we currently have and doing a deep analysis of what is the asset that one of them have that can be attributed to somebody else and be a benefit. Because we have a lot of somewhat duplicative businesses in the city of Clarkston. And so as we think about that concept of sustainability, what does that look like from a branding perspective, but also how do we deepen their relationships with each other so they can sustain themselves for the long term? Did I miss anything? Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, y'all. Okay, I'm going to pass it to Betsy to close us off.
Okay. Yep. So I'm going to get us out of here almost on time. So one of the things, limited time, we could stay here all day and have an all day retreat. But one of the things that some of you have touched on, and we started out this way, is thinking about funding sources. You guys talked about grants. You talked about, the incentive piece. So Alex is going to pass around. We just have some ideas. So some of you may not be super familiar with these types of funding. You say grants. Well, what does that mean? You may say, a community improvement district, and you know what that means, but does everybody know? So thinking through what all these options are. And so what we would challenge you to do is you've kind of had some good conversations. You've had some very overlapping things, which is good. Nobody's like way off in left field saying, well, we need a target. So what's good now is to take those ideas, look at what one of those funding pieces might be, and think how you could use that to achieve some of those goals. But what I also want you to know is that sometimes funding is stackable. I was at an Economic Development Administration conference this week, and they really talked about how sometimes it's very difficult for communities to to even access grant money because they can't even get to the starting line, right? Because they don't have the data and the studies and the strategic plan that shows a funder, right, that we're serious. And so what's great and what I want to leave you with today is that's the work that you're doing now. I know it feels kind of painful and where is this going, but you'll have that plan. You'll have the data. One of the things I'm really excited about that I got to work on is a retail analysis and looking at the gaps of what you have and a strategy for being, supporting the businesses that you have and bringing in things that you may not have. But now you have that data to look at that, right? So that makes you more attractive to a funder, and you've kind of looked at those strategies. So think about that whole funding stack. So who funds the plan, who funds the marketing, who funds the engineering studies, because those can all be very, very different. And don't just write one off because you can't get the other one. Sometimes you have to take it in bites. So really look at that, think through what that might look like, in terms of building those pieces, because nothing happens without a budget. One of the things I would encourage you to do, and I don't know that he's here tonight, but I know Jacob and I say this every time because Jacob was sitting beside me at this meeting, and then I'm going to let y'all go, but I have done this for years and years and years. I was 1 year old when I heard from Brian Lackey, who is in Gainesville. He does a great job. But he said, always bring in your city finance director. And I'm like, man, accountants and lawyers they bring me down. They're like, no, you can't do it. But if you can bring them in on the ideas, they know where there may be this pot of money. Like, hey, we have this little bit of SPLOS left over from 2 SPLOS, whatever it is, right? A lot of times they know about that pot of money. If you can sell them on the idea, they'll get excited about it, and they'll help you figure out how to manage that money and do those stacks. So I would really encourage you to bring your city finance folks, because that's not the first person we think about, right? When we think about DDA and like the fun stuff, and we think about an accountant like they're just checking stuff off bean counters, right? But if you can bring them to the table, they can really help you with that funding piece. So encourage you all to make this the first of many conversations. Do this kind of thing about quarterly and really have those updates, those good conversations, those check-ins, and just communicate with each other. If you don't know each other, y'all share business cards tonight, share contact information, call the mayor. No, don't call the mayor. Where's my city clerk? That's who everybody calls, right? She has everybody's contact information, so y'all get to know each other and call each other and work on it together. And you'll have our report at the end of this, so don't feel like, oh, I missed what this group said. You'll have when this process is done, we'll have a full report with all of this data and all this feedback and these goals in it that can really help you be your roadmap. So with that, and Alex, do you have anything else? But I want to thank y'all all for coming. We love being in Clarkston. It's one of my favorite places to work. Thank y'all. And I got to turn it over to the woman who's really in charge.
No, I think people, did anybody have questions?
Yes.
Okay, there you go. That's all I want to make sure before I get to my seat. No. You have a question.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So my question will be quick. Are these the quadrants as we discussed today, and the dots that we put where the saturation of ideas we're starting to cultivate, will that be emailed to us as a body? And then I think also it may be worthwhile to kind of tier them, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3, based off the dots that we have here, so that the DDA, as y'all continue to do these listening sessions and consulting with community on these things and what they would like to see them tactically executed as, that would be super helpful so they can build upon it. Because we're in Q3.
Yeah, that'll be part of our report to use all this to inform the rest and share that back out. Absolutely.
My question is what is the next step? So these are not our strategies. These are just.
So these are your big bucket goals, and then so the final report will be your strategies of like, this is what you're going to do, and these are kind of the steps to get there, and then the data that backs up that says, these are the.
You can think of it as this is really big picture, like placemaking, big picture, and then we'll go like super more definition.
So we're saying that the city and the DDA are all on the same page.
Yeah, or figuring out where there is synergy, what areas that you're all working together on. It's like connecting the dots.
Like each group has different initiatives and big priorities. So where can we connect the dots? If we work together, we can do more stuff, right? So
Mhm.
It's like, what's the overlap? We have these two circles of work that we're doing. If we talk to each other, we can figure out overlap and then work together.
Yeah, but it'll be a lot more detail. We'll drill down from those big focus areas down to do this.
So any other next, Councilman Perkins?
Thanks. So I'm interested. This can be probably a longer conversation, but where the underlying data is that sort of gave rise to these being the 4 areas of focus. Particularly when we're talking about economic development, I haven't heard anything that looks at consumer behavior. If we're wanting to attract people to the city, they kind of define what we can and can't attract. With our household median income being what it is, like we've got to bring in some tourist money if we're trying to offset like the cost of living for folks in terms of residential property taxes. And so that's sort of I feel like a missing piece to the conversation is that foundation of data, and then how are we measuring impact and progress, towards whatever that number or numbers, is or are moving forward. So a little bit of a statement question, but part 1 would be kind of how the different areas of focus came to be, and then part 2, how do we kind of fill in that gap moving forward, if it is a gap.
So we did some priority setting workshops, not unlike this, with the DDA board and some surveys, and that was those big buckets were kind of what came out of that. And then the second part of your question. Mm-hmm. Right. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Investors have criteria. They don't
right.
They look at to choose where they put business. So if we're operating without like clear numbers on that, then we're really kind of in a theoretical world. It's going to be hard for us to make progress.
Yeah, so we do have that. We have retail analysis data from a company called Placer AI, and we've analyzed that. So we'll bring that down like by category, by visitors, by spend, by what your gap is. So what you do have, what you may have what they call an oversupply of, and what you have an undersupply of. And it's even down to, like how much is spent within the city limits. And so when you start to look at that gap, you start to look at what's here, and then you can make that really data-backed decision. Okay, well, we want to do business attraction, which is great. You want to grow businesses, but what do you really have the capacity to do, right? And so that's what that data will tell us. So then when you have a developer call or you want to go out and actively recruit, you can say, okay, like, here's what the data says. Like, here's what our income is. Here's what our population is. Here's what the retail gap is. And so you're really speaking from a place of knowing and being really focused on what you want to and have the ability to recruit. Does that kind of help answer that? And that'll all be in this final report.
How you doing, Madam Mayor? Hey, I wanted to ask you, is this the proper arena to ask a little bit more about maybe the path trail or when it...
So we can talk after and just let us know who are you?
Oh, I'm William Cunningham, a long-term citizen of Clarkston, Georgia.
Okay.
Jolly Avenue.
Thank you.
I met you a few times, Madam Mayor. I just want to know what's going on with the path trail. Okay. If you can let us know, let me know.
Absolutely. We'll follow up afterwards. Okay. Any other? I see Michelle has her hand.
Betsy, you mentioned that these 4 groups, and they came from the DDA. Was that when you folks did your, like we had to answer questions? Mm-hmm. Like you gave us these 4 buckets that we had to address.
We're building off of our first phase and building a complete kind of strategic plan that incorporates more of the data that you asked about. And then this is part of that too, is doing some more comprehensive engagement based on the work that we did a year ago. So that's part of how this bucket. Can you introduce yourself? Sorry, I'm Grace. I'm with Georgia Tech. I'm just quietly taking notes in the corner, but I'm also on the project.
Thank you, Grace.
All right. Any other questions? So just to make sure, let's go back to next steps. You're going to provide us the base data, right?
Yes, that will be, well, that will be part of our final report.
Okay.
But yes, it'll be in there. Mhm.
Yeah, so the final report will blend the data analysis that we're doing parallel to this conversation. We only had an hour, so we didn't want to, bore you all. But the report will have all of the comprehensive data, the conversations we've had with stakeholders. With this, we went to the refuge market and got some feedback at the market. So it'll all be together, and that will help prioritize the recommendations and strategies that y'all have talked about today. Right. So we heard Beltline Food Hall, right? Or Beltline S Food Hall, right? We'd love that, but maybe that's not step one, right? Like maybe step one is X, Y, and Z, and so we'll spell that out in our plan.
So we'll have quantitative data, which is the numbers, the leakage, the this and that. And then this is sort of qualitative. What do I want as my community and how do I, balancing those things out. Okay. We'll have both. So you'll get a final report that has all of that nice stuff in it. And then as your next step is to continue to work together, to vision, to continue to have these conversations like this as this moves forward. And I think I don't want to speak out of turn, when our report should be finished. When is our target?
End of August.
Yeah.
Touched on each of the scope items, like all this, like 3.2 and all those. Have you guys done all of those?
In the report?
In the scope, in your.
Yeah, we're still working on all the scope items. Some of that is part of the final report.
Any other questions? So is there an expectation that we will have another quarterly meeting? Is that one of the other overall?
We will not be here, but I would encourage your city staff. I see her shaking her head. So
Okay,
yes, we would encourage that.
Okay, with the timeline, right? Okay. All right. Any other comments, questions, concerns? All right, with that, I'll take a motion to adjourn. Yes, Vice Mayor? It's been properly moved and seconded that we adjourn the meeting. You ready? All in favor say aye. Aye. Okay, meeting has been adjourned. Thank you all.